Hello world, Shelly here, and today we are moving on up to the penthouse apartment for day 4 of Foundation Fest. I am going to check out the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. Now, I had gone to Sephora in Las Vegas during the VIB Rouge sale, and originally I was planning to purchase the Marc Jacobs Remarkable because, as you recall, I really liked the sample I had in my foundation review of that. So I'll link that down below if you missed it. And I was swatching all of the Marc Jacobs foundations and I just could not find a color match. So while I was there, the Sephora makeup artist did the color IQ test on me. I've had that done a few times. I'm usually a 2R03, and she tested me and I was coming out 3Y04, which the 04 part, I am not that dark, so I don't believe that at all. But the 3Y was really interesting, which is basically means on the slight end of warm toned. So 2R means slightly cool toned. That number goes all the way up to 7. So a 2 out of 7 on the warm tone, or if in this case it was a 3 out of 7 on the warm tone, 2 out of 7 on the cool tone. So that surprised me, and I thought, the lighting in Sephora is terrible, and that influences how this thing works and everything. But anyway, as we were swatching some foundation, she said, why don't we try the Giorgio Armani? She said, this is my favorite foundation. I use it on all my clients. It really is, I believe, the best thing in the store. And so I was like, all right, because Marc Jacobs really doesn't seem to be color matching me. So we went over there, we started swatching these, and I was pretty torn between the shade number 2, which is their fair neutral, and shade number 3, which is their fair golden undertone. She convinced me that the golden looked the best on my skin, so I bought shade 3, and it is a pricey purchase, but VIB Rouge I was getting 15% off, so I did it. And so we're going to try this out today. This is the first time that I am wearing this foundation. Let's check out what they have to say on Sephora's website. So the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation retails for $64. Woo! You get 1 fluid ounce of product, which is standard. There are 24 shades available. It's described as having a radiant finish, a lightweight liquid foundation that achieves a radiant silky finish. It's an award-winning foundation formulated with microfill technology, producing a low-density product that pairs high-impact pigments with weightless texture. Then they talk about kings and emperors and all this blah, blah, blah. And that's really about all they have to say. It's got 1,359 reviews on Sephora's website and has a 4 out of 5 rating amongst those reviews. I did read a quote from Giorgio Armani himself, who said that this foundation allows the natural glow of your skin to come through no matter how many layers you apply. So that implies, I think, that it is buildable, and that's what they have to say about this foundation. So in terms of packaging, frosted glass bottle, beautiful plastic top, pump dispenser. The OCD in me is going to always want this little Giorgio Armani logo to be perfectly in the center, but you can apply this lid any which way, so it's not going to be a hassle. It's just going to be a little thing that the OCD in me likes to get obsessed about. So overall, beautiful packaging. It's Giorgio Armani. I mean, oh my god, having this sitting on my shelf is like, what? And that's what we got. So we're going to try this out today, and let me give you guys some swatches to compare this to other foundations in my collection. Swatches. First up, we have the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation in shade 3. Next is the Fiona Styles Matte Foundation Concentrate in shade 1. Third is the Pure Bare It All Foundation in shade Porcelain. Fourth up, Urban Decay All Nighter Foundation in shade 1.5. Next is the Estee Lauder Double Wear in shade 1C1 Cool Bone. And last is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Foundation in shade 2 Fair. Good morning! Oh my god, I can't wake up today. I don't know what's going on. I've got my Cleanse, Moisturize, Urban Decay, Urban Defense Primer. That has already happened. I'm going to go in with a brush on one side of my face. This is the Artis Oval 7. And a sponge on the other. This is the L'Oreal Infallible. I really like this sponge. And we're going to see if I have a preference one way or the other. Today's superstar, the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. No, like I should be wearing diamonds or something. Like this is fancy pants. Let's go 2 pumps on thy palette. Pretty liquidy formula here. Start with the brush. Coverage seems pretty light at one pass. It does have a very nice smooth finish though. I can see all my freckles coming through, but the finish of this is really smooth right off the bat. Let's try the sponge side. I think with the sponge, it looks really nice. I think it's equally smooth, equally light. I don't think you get better coverage one side or the other. I think they both look really nice. Let's go 2 more pumps and see if this can build up a little bit, get a little bit more coverage. I'm going to use the sponge. I find that it's nice that this doesn't dry down super immediately, so you've got some time to kind of get it around and play with it and get it covering where you want it covering. This is a really interesting foundation. The finish is doing some very nice smoothing of texture. It's doing a little bit of blurring of pores, but in some spots I feel like it looks like it's sitting on top of my skin instead of blending in, especially on my nose. And these areas I've been having trouble with at my frown lines, I guess you'd call them. It's not blending quite well in those spots, but it's got a really nice finish. I was nervous that it was going to be super dewy because it was described as radiant and radiant and radiant, and I don't know, I don't want to be radiant, I just want to be normal. But I'm not seeing any dewiness whatsoever. I can't get it to look nice around my nose. I think the color match is really good. I was nervous with it being a golden undertone, but I think it's matching me. And with 2 layers, I would say we're at a light medium coverage. I can still see most of my freckles popping through. They're diminished. Redness is pretty well under control. I feel like my nose still looks a tiny bit red. It is massive allergy season right now, so that's probably inevitable, but I don't know how much farther I could build this up. It does imply that you can put layer after layer. I don't really want to wear that much makeup. It feels super lightweight, which is wonderful. I think the finish looks really nice on the whole. So let me go put the rest of my face on. Let's check the check-in time. It is 11:51, and I will be right back. Here we go, starting out fresh. I did set this lightly with the Laura Geller Double Take Baked powder in Fair, I believe is the shade that I've got in that one. So far, I really like the finish of this foundation, but I am a little concerned at how it's accentuating the sort of beginnings of the fine lines that I've got around my mouth. It's settling a tiny bit into smile lines and into my forehead lines. I've been able to tap that out so far, but now that everything's set, there's pretty much no fixing it. So if it settles anymore, that's just gonna happen. So that's what's happening with my face. I forgot to zoom you guys in before I put the rest on, so let me do that now and you can see this close up. On the rest of my face, my eyes are the Lorac Pro Matte palette. I've got my L'Oreal Glam Bronze bronzer, which I found they restocked for this summer, and I just got a bunch at Rite Aid. I've got the Tarte blush in Glisten. My liner is Physicians Formula 2-in-1 Lash Boosting. Love it. And on my lips, I've got Milani Matte in shade 061. So I'm going to go about my day. I will keep you guys posted, come back with a daylight check-in in a little bit, and we'll see how this wears throughout the day. Hello, daylight. It is just about 4 o'clock right now, so that puts us around the 4-hour mark, and everything on this foundation looks beautiful except the areas I was expecting. My chin is starting to look quite a bit cakey, and it is settling into the deeper lines under my chin. Let me see if I can get a little closer. So that's a little troublesome, but otherwise everything else looks really nice. I like the color match, surprisingly enough, and so far so good, but a little bit worried about my chin. It's not looking so great. So I will check back this evening and we'll see how it ended up. Hey, it is 9:13 p.m. and that means that we are at about the 9.5 hour mark with this foundation, and I have got to say that at a conversational distance, this still looks really nice. Now, of course, if you zoom in and get close up, you can see where it is starting to break down. So let's break that all down for you. What I've got going on, the chin does look a little bit cakey. I have a feeling that I probably applied too much product, or this is probably user error going on with the chin, because it doesn't look anything like the rest of my face. So I'm going to try alleviating that in the future. I will keep you guys posted as to how that works out. I'm seeing the very beginnings of wear off on my nose, but really this hasn't settled into my forehead lines or my smile lines. It is settling a little bit into the lines underneath my chin, but other than that, nobody really sees that. I think it's still doing a pretty good job at blurring texture. My pores are starting to become visible. It's not settling into them, but I am starting to be able to see them a little bit more than I initially could. But again, we're pushing 10 hours at this point, and at this time in the day, I have to say I really like how this foundation looks, minus my chin area. So, other things on the positive side, this is a fantastically comfortable foundation to wear. It feels like next to nothing at all. And for a good amount of coverage, I'm impressed with the lightweight feel. I think for dry skin, I'm just now starting to get the sensation that it might be drying just a little bit. It's not overly drying. I don't feel itchy, but I do feel like I can't. I'm almost to the point where I would say it's starting to dry my skin out, but it's it's like so close to just starting. So I don't think this is a bad thing. I think for all day wear and dry skin, this is fine. It's an acceptable level of dryness or not. Overall, if I had to give the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk foundation a grade, I think I would give it a B-. I think this is performing above average in terms of wear and lightweight and comfort and beautiful finish. I don't like how it's caking up on my chin. Again, that could be user error. I will try that again. It's got a good shade range. I think this is a really, really good match for me. So thank you to the girl at the Sephora in Caesar's Palace for forcing me to go against my better judgment and get the warm undertone foundation, because you were right, girl. You were right. And yeah, so that's what I think of the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. I think it's really nice. I'm going to keep playing with it. I'm going to see if I can get it to not cake up on my chin, because I really like the finish, I really like the comfort, and I really like the color match. So there you have it. If you would like to see some more foundation reviews, give me a thumbs up so I know to keep on doing them. And let me know down in the comments if you've got suggestions for foundations you would like to see me try out on this dry 42-year-old face, and I will try my best to get my hands on them. Thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. I appreciate it, and I hope to see you again soon. Even though I can't see you, you can see me. Comments, I will see you in the comments. Thanks again, everybody. Take care and have a great day wherever you are. Bye-bye.